नमस्कार दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है आपके अपने YouTube चैनल विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी में। मेरा नाम है विजेंद्र वर्मा एंड आई एम द डायरेक्टर फाउंडर ऑफ द विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी। We provide coaching for the judicial services exams, and through this video we are trying to reach out to you to provide you full professional exam oriented coaching for the judicial services, and that is free of cost. इन क्लासेस में जो वीडियोस हम आपको प्रोवाइड करेंगे, वी आर गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड यू द एंटायर फाउंडेशन कोर्स इंक्लूडिंग ऑल द बुक्स, इंक्लूडिंग all the details, whether it is required for the prelims or mains or for the guidance for the interview. मीन्स इन वीडियोस को आपने सिर्फ इतना करना है, सीक्वेंस में देखना है, प्लेलिस्ट को अच्छी तरीके से देखना है। सब्जेक्ट वाइज मिल जाएंगे आपको, सीपीसी, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, बीएनएस, बीएनएसएस, इन सब की प्लेलिस्ट आपको सीक्वेंस में मिलेगी। इन प्लेलिस्ट को देख करके आपने यू हैव टू टेक द कोचिंग फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच। फर्स्ट वीडियो से लेके लास्ट वीडियो तक आपने करना है। उन्हीं वीडियोस में आपको गाइड किया गया है कि किस तरीके से आप किसी को कोई सा पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन, सेक्शन, सब सेक्शन उसको प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़ना है क्या, मेंस के लिए पढ़ना है क्या, और उसके किस तरीके से नोट्स करने चाहिए, कैसे आपको रिवीजन करना चाहिए। इन्हीं वीडियोस में डिटेल में गाइडेंस आपको मिलेगी। तो प्लीज आपसे ये रिक्वेस्ट है, आप ये ना समझें कि यूट्यूब में फ्री में दिया गया है तो फिर ऐसे ही होगा। ये वो प्रोफेशनल कोर्स है जिसके लिए हम लोग अच्छी खासी हाई फीस लेते आए हैं स्टूडेंट से, लेकिन एक टाइम आता है इंसान को समाज के लिए भी करना चाहिए, और उसी इंटेंशन के साथ में वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग यू द एंटायर कोर्स फ्री थ्रू द यूट्यूब चैनल विधि जुडिशियल एकेडमी। तो प्लीज हर वीडियो की जो थंबनेल है उसको देख करके आपको आइडिया लग जाएगा कि इसका सब्जेक्ट क्या होने वाला है। कुछ टॉपिक्स ऐसे होते हैं जिनको एक लेक्चर में कवर नहीं किया सकता, तो उसमें लेक्चर नंबर 1, 2, 3 सीक्वेंस से मिलेगा। प्लीज उस तरीके से देख लीजिएगा, और नोट्स आपको अपडेटेड मिलेंगे, उसके लिए कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। नोट्स का जो लिंक मिलेगा आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मिल जाएगा आपको। एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच, विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। नाउ कम टू द रूल 2। heading is very important. which rule deal with the money suits? This is what rule 2, where the plaintiff seeks the recovery of money. What? Where the plaintiff seeks what? Recovery of money. Please highlight this. The plaintiff shall state the precise amount claimed. ये ध्यान रखें, these verdicts are very important. Recovery of money, precise amount. You cannot say about 1 lakh. You will have to mention 1,20,125 rupees 50 paisa. You precise means this. You cannot say around 1 lakh. You cannot say around 10 lakh. There must be precise amount claimed. And why I have highlighted, because I have seen questions from these line as well. You will have to identify within the money suits, when the suit is for money suits, for recovery of money, then you will have to mention the precise amount. समझे नहीं? But if where the plaintiff sues for mean profits, what? Please, you will have to remember all these words. Where the plaintiff sues for what? Mean profit, or for an amount which will be found due to him on taking unsettled accounts. Accounts are not settled. There is a dispute between me and you regarding the accounts. I am saying you are supposed to give me 1 lakh rupees. You are saying no, this is not the exact amount. So there is some dispute between the accounts, regarding the accounts. So what is the exact amount? So you don't know, how can you mention it? It is very logical. In case of mean profit, you can't be very precise. In case of unsettled account, again you can't be very precise. So money suits में there are 2 categories now, where you know what is the exact amount, recovery of money. You will have to mention what? Precise amount claimed. What are you claiming exactly? But in case of mean profits, or in case of amount based on unsettled accounts. And third, in case of suit for movables in the possession of the defendant, movables are in the possession of defendant. And fourth category is what? For debts of which the value he cannot estimate even after the exercise of reasonable diligence. So these are the 4 categories. First, mean profit, amount on the basis of unsettled accounts, movables in the possession of defendant, debts value of which he cannot estimate. In such cases the plaintiff shall state approximately the amount or value sued for. Approximately. So please try to understand here, there are two categories now. First category where you are claiming precise amount claimed, exact amount claimed, and in second category you are claiming approximately the amount or value thereof. So which are the suits where you have to mention approximate value, which are the matters where you will have to precisely mention it, and these are the question of your wisdom now. Now in prelims exam, examiner sir will examine your level of understanding the language, how precise you are reading that. Don't jump to the conclusion first, you read it, which is the suit. It is the recovery of money, or it is for the mean profit, or it is for the unsettled account, or for the movables, or the whatever the categories देंगे. So you will have to see कि whether it is the case of approximate value or whether it is the case of precise amount. एक बार ये किताबें आपको मैं बता रहा हूँ, आपको ये जो बुक्स हैं बेयर एक्ट हैं, ये आपके जीवन भर काम आएंगे, थ्रू आउट द लाइफ काम आएंगे. क्यों? चाहे आप जज बन जाइए या वकील भी रहेंगे आप, बेयर एक्ट तो हार्डली चेंज होते हैं, हल्का फुल्का कोई अमेंडमेंट होगा आप लिख लेंगे. तो अभी जिस तरीके से पढ़ लेंगे आप यही सारी बुक्स आपके सालों साल काम आएंगी बाद में, है ना. तो डोंट हेजिटेट, जहाँ जहाँ मैं आपसे ये इस तरीके से हाईलाइट करवाता हूँ, कोशिश कीजिए तुरंत तुरंत कर लिया. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, this is the question of prelims for you. In which of the following cases plaintiff need not state the precise amount claimed? Mean profit, suits movables, unsettled accounts. इतना भी याद कर लिया, mean profit, suit for movables, unsettled accounts, तब भी क्वेश्चन हो जाएगा आपका prelims का. All of the above. Again, in money suits, the plaintiff shall be state precise amount, only principal amount interest. This is precise amount claimed. This is. So please remember the categories when you need to mention exact amount and when you can take the approximate this. Now come to next point. This is rule 3, where the subject matter of the suit is immovable property. And again this is the question of your prelims, which rule deals with the immovable property. Rule 2 was money suits, rule 3 what? Immovable property. So please remember what we are reading right now, particulars to be mentioned in plaint. प्लेंट में पर्टिकुलर्स कौन कौन से होने चाहिए ये हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं. रूल 1 में हमने पढ़ा जनरल बातें सब, विच आर एप्लीकेबल ऑलमोस्ट इन ऑल केसेस. नाउ हियर वी आर रीडिंग दी स्पेशल केसेस, रिकवरी ऑफ मनी केसेस, मनी सूट्स. नाउ इट इज द सूट रिलेटिंग टू immovable property. Therefore genuine question of your prelims is this, which rule deals with immovable property, which rule deals with the money suits. तो कर लेंगे आप नहीं. So rule 3 is dealing with the suits with immovable property. It means what? Now what particulars you should mention when you are going to file a suit with regard to immovable property. तो how will you identify that? एक तुम बात कर चुके हो 1 में, रूल 1 में, you will have to mention the value thereof. अगेन ये for the purpose of jurisdiction and the court fees. Now what other facts are to be mentioned here? Where subject matter of suit is immovable property, the plaint shall contain a description of the property sufficient to identify it. What is the general line? Description of the property sufficient to identify, and it is very logical. You are claiming, you want to what? You want to claim possession, you want to claim some kind of mean profit out of that, whatever. So you will have to identify that property. So sufficient description should be there. And what are the sufficient? It's a matter of fact now that property should be identifiable now. कि which, and there should be a, फिर उसके लिए क्या जरूरी होता है? मैप. You will have to लगाना पड़ेगा एक प्लेन के साथ कि भाई ये प्रॉपर्टी है एग्जैक्टली. एंड अगेन, and in case such property can be identified by boundaries or numbers in a record of settlement or survey, the plan shall specify such boundaries or number. Got it? Suppose, देखिए क्या, suppose Madam Supriya has a vast land in the desert, है ना, right, Thar desert. Now there is no number. How will you identify? Sand dunes keeps on transferring from one place to other place. So there may be situations, and there may be property that her house number. So there, when it is possible to identify with the boundaries and numbers, you will have to mention those specific numbers, because the only purpose is what? Identification of the property. Otherwise, you will have to give the description of the property sufficient to identify how that property can be identified, because ultimately you will have to go for execution of it. If you are claiming for the possession is decreed, now you are searching the property, which property should be given to you. So how will you? So this is very logical need that there should be description sufficient for identification. And if this is fulfilled by this, if there are boundaries, suppose there is dispute regarding this premise only, so you will have to mention that number, east, west, adjacent, whatever, exact wo कि this is front side this much road, left side this number, right side this number, back side this number, like this, exact numbers, boundaries and description for the purpose of identification. Question will come. Rule 3 deals with what? Immovable property. And this is the question. Where the subject matter of the suit is immovable property, the plain shell. Description of the property sufficient to identify it. In case where the property can be identified by boundaries or numbers, same, both A and B. Now come to the rule 4. Again same questions. When the plaintiff sues as representative, we have read it, order 1, rule 8, representative capacity. Then this is rule 4. Where the plaintiff sues in a representative character, एक होता है representative suit, एक ये है representative character. It means कि I am bringing this suit not in personal capacity but in representative character. As a bank manager, if you are going to in the capacity of bank manager, it means you are in a representative character. If you are the manager of some trust, you are going there as a manager of that, not in the personal capacity. In that case, the plaintiff shall show not only that he has an actual existing interest in the subject matter, but he has taken the steps necessary to enable him to institute a suit concerning it. See, इसको समझिए, आपको दो बातें हो गई. रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कैरेक्टर में एक तो मैंने आपको बताया एज ए प्रिंसिपल मैनेजर मीन्स डिफरेंट फ्रॉम योर पर्सनल कैपेसिटी. एक हुआ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सूट. तो इन दैट केस यू आर नॉट इंस्टीट्यूटिंग द सूट इन योर पर्सनल कैपेसिटी. इन द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव सूट्स देर आर फॉर्मेलिटीज ऑफ रूल 8. रूल 8 ऑर्डर 1 है कि नहीं है. रूल 8 रूल 1 जिन्होंने नहीं पढ़ा है उनको थोड़ा समझाया था मैं. रूल 1 सॉरी ऑर्डर 1 डील्स विद द पार्टीज टू द सूट. ओके, विद इन दैट रूल 8 डील्स विद द representative suit. It means when there are numerous persons having same interest, so it is not necessary that all should join as plaintiff. Even 2 or 3 persons, some of them can represent themselves and others as well. That suit is called representative suit. So in that case you will have to fulfill some formalities, notice जाएगा, whatever जो rule 8 की हैं सारी बातें वो. In second category you are in a representative character. This is what? When the plaintiff sues as a represent, किसी के प्रतिनिधि के रूप में जा रहे हो, तो exactly you will have to mention that 2 things, that he has an actual existing interest. When you are suing, that you will have to say that I have that representative interest in that, and now he has taken all the steps necessary to enable him to institute a suit concerning it, कि whatever formalities I have to fulfill regarding that, I have fulfilled that. So when you are bringing a plaint, you will have to mention it that I am bringing this suit in the representative capacity and I have fulfilled all the formalities, I have authorities, whatever there are needed, you will have to do it. And now again, very important for your claims, like rule 2 is for money suits, rule 3 is for intellectual property, number 4 is rent repayment. बस इतना भी कर लेंगे तब भी काम चल जाएगा आपका. Now come to rule 5. Defendant's interest and liability to be shown. What? Defendant's interest and liability to be shown. This is, the plaintiff shall show that defendant is or claims to be interested in the subject matter and that he is liable to be called upon to answer the plaintiff's demand. Very interesting. इसको समझिए क्या है. Suppose you bring a plaint, you file a suit, and for that purpose you bring a plaint in which you say that I want the possession of such and such house which is in the possession of the defendant, now आपने केवल आधी बात करी. ठीक है, रूल 5 में समझिए क्या कह रही है. Plaintiff shall show that defendant is or claims to be interested in the subject matter. While claiming possession, you will have to say कि defendant is interested in that property. That is why I have come to you. He is claiming his interest. Are you getting explained? Because defendant is not ready to hand over my interest in it. He is establishing his interest in this. You will actually, this is a complaint against the defendant. You can say like this, कि defendant is claiming his interest while my interest is there. His interest is no legal. I have a legal interest in that. My claim is legal, but defendant is claiming such and such interest. And secondly, he is liable. He should be called here. You will have to mention it. Defendant, otherwise why the court, defendant क्यों बुलाएगी वो कोर्ट को? कोर्ट को आप रिक्वेस्ट करोगे तभी तो उसको बुलाएगी डिफेंडेंट को. ये बेचारा मंजित घर पे अपनी टोपी लगाए बैठा हुआ है आराम से, इसे क्यों बुलाए कोर्ट? आप पहले प्लेंटिफ में कहोगे ना कि मंजित मेरी जो प्रॉपर्टी है इस पे अपनी नज़र गड़ाए बैठा है, इसको बुलाया जाए. ही इज लायबल टू बी कॉल्ड अपॉन टू आंसर माई डिमांड. यू विल हैव टू मेंशन इट इन प्लेंट. ठीक है कि he is showing interest, he is in the occupation, or whether he is trespassing again and again, whatever you will say, but it should be there in that, in your plaint. कर लेंगे आप. तो this is related to defendant. बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ाया गया है और बहुत टेक्निकली पढ़ाया गया है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके लिए. बस आपसे यही कहूँगा कि अगर ये वीडियो आपको पसंद आए तो अपने दोस्तों से शेयर करना जो नहीं भूलेंगे आप लोग. लाइक भी कीजिएगा और कमेंट भी कीजिएगा.